Hello, photography lovers. Today I'm going to share with you some useful tips for creating beautiful and strong floral photographs. So put on your walking shoes because today we're starting in the Sunshine Coast Botanical Gardens and finishing up in Lower Gibsons. Tip number 1. Before you start randomly snapping away at everything, do a quick walkthrough to see if there's anything that really catches your eye and inspires you. Take the time and make the time to shoot the ones that truly capture your heart and imagination. I completely fell in love with these stunning poppies. As you can see, other than a very few light adjustments in Lightroom, these came out pretty much as in camera. Tip number 2. The light. True, you can photograph flowers any time of the day and in all weather. There are, however, some things that you will need to watch out for. But there are a few tricks you can use to shoot in even the brightest light. That said, direct sunlight can create both harsh shadows and hot spots. If you don't want to deal with blown out images from direct light, you can try a few different things. One option is to go out earlier in the morning or later in the evening, go out on a more overcast day, or you can even carry a white umbrella and use it as a diffuser. If none of those things are an option for you at the moment, you can try finding some shade, or if there isn't any shade, you can get your back to the sun and you can make your own shade with your body. I created this image from the underhanging parts of the plant that was casting shadows on the garden box. It was still a little bit on the bright side for my liking, so I gave it a few tweaks in Lightroom. Conversely, you can always look for an angle that works and embrace the light, like I did here. Tip number 3 is all about the camera angles. And if you haven't noticed already, under each tip heading, there's actually more than one tip that I'm slipping in there. So let's call this tip 3A. Make sure that your camera is on the same level as your subject. A little off topic and as an aside, if you would be interested in a little tutorial on how I process these images in Lightroom, please leave me a comment below and we'll see what we can do about that. Tip 3B. Shooting your subject from above is risky because you could end up with a whole lot of clutter in your image. Tip 3C. Shooting your subject from below can let in way too much light. It's always a good idea to experiment a little when you're out in the field. You can try tilting your lens, shifting to different angles, and see what different effects you can get out of it. Tip 3D. Flowers photographed face up make a nicer image than flowers photographed face down. Tips 4, A, B, C, and D are all tips for composition. Composition for floral photography is really very wide open. However, I do have a few strong suggestions to help make your floral photography even stronger. Follow these tips and you too can photograph the strongest of flowers more strongly for better strength and ultimate strongitude. Oh, good grief. Sorry. Tip 4A, rule of thirds, which isn't really a rule, so you can go ahead and break it if you want to. Tip 4B, the in-camera crop. What this means usually is zooming in on your subject and leaving part of the image outside of the frame intentionally. Tip 4C, fill the frame. This form of composition is sometimes easier accomplished with a macro lens, but it can be done without one. Just zoom a little bit closer, walk in, move a little bit closer. What filling the frame does mostly is just removes distractions from your image. Tip 4D, use negative space. And something to remember when you are creating an image using negative space, is to remember to always have your image facing towards the negative space rather than away from it. That will create a much stronger image. As we move along, I just want to take a moment to remind you to subscribe, hit the like button, and comment below. I really need your help to make this channel grow. Number 5, tips for focus. If you're not already using manual focus, I encourage you to start ASAP. Now, manual focus is going to give you more control, and without it, you may find that your camera is hunting for focus if you are using automatic. In essence, what that means is that you're allowing your camera to choose what's in focus. If you're working on creating a shallow depth of field, you can try focusing on the point of the flower nearest you. If you are wanting a nice sharp focus front to back, you can try a technique called focus stacking. This is a technique where you focus on your foreground, then your middle ground, then your background, and you process that in Photoshop and in Lightroom. If you want to try focus stacking some of your floral images, you might want to wait till it's a nice calm day because a little bit of wind can really throw the whole process off. Number 6, all about aperture. When we're talking about aperture, we're talking about the amount of light that we're allowing to hit the sensor. And the way we mostly do that is by using your f-stop number. A wide aperture allows in more light, and a narrow aperture allows less light to hit the sensor. What does confuse some beginning photographers for sure is that a wide aperture has a low f-stop number. For example, an f1.2 to an f1.9 would be a low aperture, while anything f13 and above is considered to be a narrow aperture. I would take those rules a little bit tongue-in-cheek, although a 1.2 to 1.9 is certainly a low aperture, so is a 3.6. If you are having a problem getting a handle on this process, you always have the option of setting your camera to aperture priority. Well, that's it for this time, folks. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Remember to subscribe and to like and to comment below. Let me know what you thought of the video, and let me know if you'd like to see some tutorials from me. Bye now.